Hi, my name is Carolyn Rhodes. I'm the owner of Expedite. And here with me is Damon Rose, my manager and marketing manager of Expedite as well. My company was created to help families when they go through the loss of a loved one. Having that time of transition can be really difficult, and not knowing what to do with the house, probate processing, dealing with entitled family members, having to clean up things that may not be as pleasing to you, meaning someone may have passed away in the home. Moving and packing and also selling a home are a few of the services that we offer when someone's lost a loved one. And more importantly, we start to implement wills, trusts, and medical directives, which helps you prepare for that moment in the time that it should happen.
So Expedite, think about it as that end-to-end process that kind of takes you not only from probate processing and will services and will creation, but also the Expedite difference is where we get behind the scenes with you and help you with the transition, right? So whether that's family dispute management, whether that's a transition through the entire process, Expedite's there to hold your hand through this process.
Today, we're here at Overflow Investments, presenting our businesses and our services to the community. If you want to reach out to us at any time or point, you can through expedite.today, that's our website, or reach us by way of phone number 757-563-3092. And lastly, you can also reach me on Instagram. I'm Instagram at expedite_today.
Y'all having a good time? Y'all learning something? Man, yeah, first of all, y'all sticking through, because right now you're going to learn. Y'all heard all the stuff about testate, intestate, right? So you dying with a will or without a will, right? So do you have a will? Ooh, how many people have a will? Okay, so how many people don't have a will? All right. So look, this next young lady who's presenting, see, I'm a die testate now. Well, I don't want to die. It just felt funny when I said that. I don't want to die. Hold on. If I do die, shut up, girl. Cowboy people crazy. Now, seriously though, if I do die, I will die with a will now, because I have a will. It took me a minute to do it. I know it really, really strains you, because you're like, oh my God, one day I'm gonna die. Because it begins to make you understand that you're finite and you're not gonna live forever. But one of the people who's gonna present later, Miss Joanne, she said something that was profound on one of our interviews. She said the most unselfish thing you can do is make sure you take care of your death. Because some people say, you know what, I'm gonna be dead anyway, it don't even matter. Right? So you want to make sure you take care of whatever needs to happen. I mean, people got to do GoFundMe accounts and try to figure out things to put you in the ground. So this real estate, you're building wealth, so you're going to be able to do a will, because you're going to be able to leave something, right? Huh? And you're going to be able to make money. You're going to curate enough money to be able to pay to put your own self in the ground, so nobody else won't have to do it, right? Like, I know it just sounds very morbid, doesn't it? But at the end of the day, we need to make sure of that, because it says that we don't take care of our children and leave them an inheritance. The Bible says we're worse than an infidel, right? So you want to make sure that you take care of your business while you're here, so that you won't have to leave a strain on other people when they're gone, when you're gone. Like she said, some people, they say, oh, I'm going to leave this to one daughter because she's responsible, and she didn't give the money to the other girl. That's selfish, right? So you need to make sure that you put your will together to make sure that you're able to take care of your family. I see it all the time as a pastor. I done had people at the graveyard. People, you know, some people can't tell, but I can tell they arguing about what they supposed to get and what they're not supposed to get. Sometimes when people die and they say, well, we should have revived them. Well, I ain't know if they want to revive or not. You need to make sure you're able to tell people, hey, what you want to do. Do you want to be revived? Do you not want to be revived? You have to take time to make that decision, because everybody know what you wanted to do when you can't make the decision. And they don't all have the same opinion. Okay? But everybody know. And everybody got different answers. So you want to make sure that you put something together, which is called a will, to take care of those decisions, so you won't have your family fighting over how much they knew what you wanted. Sometimes we don't even know what we want ourselves. So if I don't even know what I want myself, how you know what I wanted? All right? So without further ado, this young lady did my will, and she does other things. She has a business called Expedite Today. She taken care of a few of my members with their wills and also took care of some probate situations that we had. So right now, just give a warm welcome to Miss Carolyn Rhodes. Amen, amen. Clap for her as she come. Look at her. They make you feel she took a whole long walk. Look at her. She want to make sure people see her walking up here. Come on. Look at that. All right. Hallelujah. What? I'm sorry. You know who I am. There you go.
Hello? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Pastor Maxwell.
You're welcome.
Hi, everybody. My name is Carolyn Rhodes. Thank you for the introduction. And my company is called Expedite. And I help families when they are, I almost fell through the crack. Y'all got insurance? No. I got my wheel, you got, okay.
That's why the chair up here. Sit down. There you go.
Well, I was trying to introduce. Oh my goodness, y'all. So let me start over. My name is Carolyn Rhodes, and my company is called Expedite, and I help families in the event that they should lose a loved one. That process can be really difficult. We've been talking about this all day long, about making sure we take care of our estate, and when we go through probate, and my company is here to help families should they lose a loved one, and also preparing before that time happens. So Pastor Maxwell was just talking about wills. So my company does help families create those documents like a will, trust, medical directives, to keep that plan in place so that way if anything should happen, now you know exactly what you want to happen or how you want to give your estate. Just really quick, a lot of people, whenever they come to me or talk to me or come to my class, they don't think they have an estate. They don't think I have something to leave. Like it may be, they think the word estate means like it's something big, lavish, or they have to have a house, or they have to have a car, or things like that to give. But what I am understanding more so, and also what I teach my people that come to me, is that your estate really represents everything that you have accumulated in your whole life. It represents you. And most family members are fighting. They have these huge disputes, huge disagreements, because a lot of times it's hurt. And they want to share, they want to grab whatever piece it is that you have left, they want to keep that. It could be something as small as a coat, something as small as some cooking dishes, a sofa that may not mean anything monetarily, but that's what they think about when they see you. So it's up to you to now create that plan. You know the significance of that person to you, to now write that plan out. This is how I want to leave my estate. Everything that I have accumulated, what represents me, and how I want to share that. That's all it is. It's just a simple plan. And unfortunately, these big words are attached to it, like the word estate, and we kind of get lost in that thinking, well, that doesn't pertain to me. But it does. As soon as you get a bank account, that money needs to be designated to go somewhere. My son, thankfully, just turned 14 years old last weekend, and he got a bank account. He can get a bank account at the age of 14. So now he is learning how to, take care of his assets, right? So you can get a bank account as young as 14 years old, and when you get as an adult, now you need to start thinking about where you want these things that you have accumulated and earned to go, okay? So I just wanted to say that real quick, but also, with Expedite, we help families, as I mentioned when I first started talking, when they lose a loved one. All of my services were developed and were crafted when God gave me the idea after I started to lose loved ones in my own life. And I started to see what the effect it had on my family members. When I would lose my grandfather, who died unexpectedly in the fire, it was a complete shock. And not only did it cause disrupt because there was no will, a lot of family members kind of went their own separate ways. To this day, he's been gone for 8 years now. They still don't talk to one another, and it's because things were not set in place. We had to fight about money in the bank accounts, and so God was showing me this is where the enemy, and this is where a lot of disrupt comes and happens in families when things are not in order, and how can I help now put order in those areas and now help assist families. So with that being said, we assist with probate processing. We just had the amazing people come up, Miss Veronica and everyone from Hampton come up here and tell you about probate. Well, you can hire us and we can help assist you with that. Sometimes when someone loses a loved one, it's too much to think about. I just lost them. I don't want to think about going through all this stuff, but that's what we're here for. Sometimes the family member may die in the house. We just had someone last week call us from the funeral home. The person unfortunately hit his head and he bled out in the home. And they needed someone to come clean it up. It was too much for them to even think about cleaning that part out. So that's what we help with as well, cleaning out the estate if someone should die inside the house. We help with selling the home. Sometimes you guys need the money, or it's in the will to where the house is now going to be sold to whomever. And we're partnered with Pastor Maxwell with Maxwell Realty. We've been partnering for 4 years now. He is our broker on our team, and he helps us with selling the estate. Should you need to sell the estate, we have a complete team, an attorney to help assist us with the probate. We have a broker and an agent to help us with selling the home or land. I have a whole construction crew, thankfully, to help us fixing the house up if you need to get it sold at its optimum value. And I have a cleaning crew to help out when, unfortunately, sometimes they may die in the home due to COVID, or like I just mentioned, someone hit their head and they bled out. Let me think, am I missing? When I'm up here, y'all, so the lights, it makes you kind of nervous. I don't want to forget something. Yes, but yes, I believe that is it. That's all that we offer. But Pastor Maxwell and I want to tell you guys about a family that he referred to us and that I assisted with, and we assisted with all of our services. So I think it's befitting to share that story.
Yeah, we had a family, and that's why I just went deaf then, or mute, whatever you want to call it.
See, it's the lights.
I'm telling you. It's the light. So I deal with situations all the time. That's why I encourage you all to please do a will. This particular family we're talking about, they had a will in place. They had an executive in place, administrator in place. Actually, they put the executive and the administrator, they assigned it to the same person, and it was just great. I called Miss Carolyn because I do real estate, and I know that's part of the thing that needed to happen. But as a pastor, as a real estate broker, I don't want to look like I'm trying to get business from my people. You understand? But I know what needs to happen, and I ain't gonna send the business to another company. It just ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna do that, because first of all, I don't know who can do real estate like I can do real estate. Not saying I ain't the best, but I feel like I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it since 1997 when I was 2, and I was 2 years old. Since 1997, I've been doing it, and I've owned Maxwell Realty since 2000. But anyway, what happened is that this couple was driving, and they kind of got sidetracked, and I think the car went into a ditch. The wife got up to go get help, and she got hit by a car, and she died. The husband, when he came to, when his memory would be there, he'd be sad because he knew she was gone. But sometimes when he wake up in the hospital, he forget she had died, and he'd be happy. And so she died, and then he died probably a week after she died.
A week after the funeral. Day after the funeral. Right.
Yeah, the day after the funeral, right? The day after the funeral, he died. And so now you have the husband who's died and the wife who's died, and none of the other family members lived in the state. They from Tennessee, right?
Miss Jones from Tennessee.
Yeah, in Tennessee. And so the situation where I knew I wanted to help this gentleman, so I said, look, I have a young lady that helps these things and get the house together, because a lot of times people do not want to clean out the house. I mean, yours was extreme with the blood thing. So if somebody kills somebody, you clean up scenes too? No, but anyway. But seriously though, so a lot of times people do not want to clean up the house. And they don't want to take the clothes out, and that's fine, because sometimes it begins to bring more mourning, because you see a certain picture or you see a certain jacket, and it brings back that memory, and sometimes it's too much for them to handle. And so anyway, the husband died after that, and so I connected her to the gentleman that was the son, and she walked them through the process. You can chime in as you go along. She helped them get the bank account, cause remember they went into Truist. No, go to the Truist.
Let's go backwards.
Go ahead.
First.
Well, go ahead, girl. Be bossy then.
Because I got to walk them through it.
Call me up here to tell me what to do, but go ahead.
Praise God. Okay, so look. Thankfully, they did have a will. So the important part that he mentioned was the son did not live here in Virginia. He lived in Tennessee. So that probate processing, having to go to court, having to get all this paperwork done, we were literally able to step in and assist and complete all of that while he lived in Tennessee. So that's one part of the service. But if you remember Miss Veronica telling you, the lady who was up here previously, how she was saying in order to avoid certain things, you can just put the person's name on the account. Well, that's the one thing they forgot to do. Although they named and they said that they wanted the son to have the entire estate, your regular living, meaning in the will, if you should say, I want to have the bank to go to my son, then the bank documents need to reflect that, even though you do have a will, because we still had to go to probate. They could not, we had an issue with Truist, and they would not release the funds.
And that's the bank, and that's what she's talking about, right? So you still on my story?
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead. I'm just saying. I said Truist. She did all this long stuff to come right back to where I was going. Go ahead.
So just make sure that your documents match the will. Same thing with, anything you have. You can do that with your cars. You can do that with, of course, your house, putting like survivorship on your deed. These things are important because it makes the process so simplistic for someone who is left to take care of this. Sometimes it truly is, with the emotions of grief and dealing with sometimes combative family members, it can really be overwhelming and they don't know where to go. So that is one thing that was helpful. But we had to go through probate, unfortunately, even though they had the will, because the names were not on the account. And thankfully, we were able to get them all the funds out of their bank account.
Anyway, let me tell the story. Right?
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead. So the bank account, this is this. The reason why you have to get somebody that knows what they're doing is because sometimes people that work in places don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay? So they went to the bank to go get the money, and there was certain forms that they had to fill out, but the person just told them, no, you can't do it. So anytime you go to somebody who don't know what they're talking about, if they can't say these great words, I don't know, and accept that they don't know. Because some people are not humble enough to say they don't know. What they'll tell you is no.
Yes.
Right? They would tell you no if they don't know, because they just don't know, and they're not humble enough to say, I don't know.
It's true.
So they just cut off the I don't and just say no. Even though I know it's two different words, but anyway, sound the same. So she had to go in there. After he had filled out the form, he was very frustrated because he felt like he should be able to get out the money. And so he had let me know what was going on. I said, hey, I think you need to handle this situation because blah, blah, blah. So go ahead and tell them how you got to handle. See, the story sounds better already.
I was able to assist them with the, and truthfully, this was with the Newport News court system. They were very, very helpful. Actually, all the courts that I've worked with have been helpful. But we were able to get the proper documentation, and we were able to get the funds out of the bank account. He came down from Tennessee, I think, twice. Once when, of course, he had to bury his mom and dad, and then the second time was to make sure we could close the house and get the money at the bank. Yeah. So moving on to our next service, which was cleaning out the house and the estate sale. That's what I forgot to tell y'all. We do estate sales too. That's the part I forgot to tell you. For different reasons. Some people really do need to find ways to leverage the estate, the things they have, in order to create income, to create money. Because even though the person has passed, bills are still accumulating. Things still have to be paid, the common things, water, electricity, light, mortgage, rent. And sometimes you don't know where to go. Well, if you know that you are the administrator or executive of the estate and you have the rights, or if something was given to you and you need to sell those items, we can also conduct for you guys an estate sale that will now allow you to now generate some income, get some money back in your pockets to now take care of those things until other resources come available. So we were able to literally clean the home out, We were able to do an estate sale, sell the items that he did not need or want, and honestly, they really didn't need the funds. It was just because they lived in Tennessee, they didn't want to take everything back to Tennessee. That the home was here. So we just went ahead and did the estate sale because that was more convenient for them. And we also used a team to come in and get the house prepared. The house was in good standing, but when people are buying a home, they want to walk into a home and see themselves in it and be ready to move in. And that's what we did. We got our team in there, got the carpet freshened up, we got fixed whatever issues they had with the roof, with the HVAC, and we got the home at its optimum value so they can be sold. And we contacted, of course, Maxwell Realty, he's on my team. And the great thing about this is we were able to sell the house from the time of the funeral of the last parent to the closing date. Even with us going through probate, we closed the home in 45 days.
Man, that's fast.
Yeah.
45 days. Oh, I see you coming. She going, you ain't got to run, because don't you blame me like
Hey,
she
Mr.
was blaming
Veronica.
me
Hi
with your
there,
heels.
Miss Carolyn. I just want to recognize the value of what Miss Carolyn offers, because I recently had a client who had to sell a house, and she was in the midst of probate, had served as caregiver for both parents and seen each parent pass, and she used regular movers to clear that house out, and she just had such a difficult time with that process. So when I met Miss Carolyn, the Newport News clerk of courts had an event, and I met her because we were both there, and I just said, girl, I wish I had known you before so you could help me with my client. So I just want to speak to this point that she's making right now. That value is huge, because when you lose someone, having to clear out a house, especially under the pressure of your siblings hiring another attorney because they don't feel like you're selling a house fast enough for them to get their inheritance. And they didn't come and help you take care of mom and daddy. So, and I've seen you all react. There's the potential for the relationships to deteriorate a little bit in the midst of the pressure. So, Ms. Carolyn, I just appreciate you, and I just wanted to just speak to the fact that there's tremendous value in what you do. And Ms. Carolyn, do you do spiritual gifts test in your church,
Yes.
Pastor?
Yes, I
Okay. For everybody who's taking their spiritual gifts test, Ms. Carolyn, I believe, has a gift of compassion in terms of the scriptural gifts of the Spirit of God, and she brings that to the process. And I recognize it because I have a mercy gift. So there's tremendous value in what she brings to these services. That's all I just needed to
Thank you.
shout out.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, and that helps not only you, it helps the pastor as well, because it keeps the tension down, because it's such a very, very, very tense thing that happens when y'all just gonna make us answer your question.
Hey.
No, we gonna get to you. You just hold on one second. You just come on, answer your question. We ain't even asked if we got question, but I got you. You bold. So, no, seriously though, it's valuable, because that's the time when the best or the worst comes out in families. Because the pressure, as she said, pressure gonna push out whatever is in you.
Yes.
And if you got a sibling that get on your nerve, they're gonna get on your nerves more. If you got a loving sibling, they're gonna love you more. That's why you need to make sure you have your wheels together. That's why you need to make sure you let everybody know specifically exactly what it is you want to happen. Because everybody thinks they know what you want, even when you don't know. Okay? And everybody thinks they know what they want, like I said in the beginning, knows what you want, even though all of their opinions are different. Okay? This service is valuable because it allows you to be able to grieve and move back. When Miss Attorney Veronica, she just said that she used regular movers. But as a preacher, I can go ahead and give you some stories in the midst of it, even though I don't have a story about that. But I can only imagine how they did it.
Yeah.
With her going in, she might see something that, you know what, they probably don't want to get this away, because she's going to be compassionate about it. You know what, they might want to keep this. But if regular movers go in there, they're just throwing everything in there. They throwing stuff away. They don't care how they move it, because they just movers. You need somebody who has compassion to go in there, because even though you don't want to go in the house and get some of those things that somebody has a compassionate eye, they're going to know what you don't want to throw away. You understand? So that's all I'm saying. So it's a great, great service. Pastors, I know y'all be watching. Sometimes even though y'all don't come, so I'm going to let y'all know. I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. Don't laugh, but it's true. They watch. Listen up. The reason why you want to use these services is it keeps you out of the midst of the drama.
Yes.
I've had individuals fighting over stuff. Like he said, a coat is special. People will fight over a coat that don't even fit.
It's true.
They can't even wear. They fight over guns that don't work.
Yes.
Okay? So if they fight over that, you know they're going to fight over money and the estate. So you want to make sure you bring someone in the middle so you can handle it, but you're not really the person doing it, so you can kind of keep yourself on the outskirts of it so it won't look like you taking sides, because you already know somebody makes sense and somebody don't.
Right.
But when you take the side of the person that makes sense, the person that don't, oh, you just like them better than me anyway. No, you're not making sense. But if I'm not saying it, and if somebody with compassion works with them, then she can kind of work through that stuff and help the pastor, so we won't have to be in the midst of the minutia. But go ahead, boss lady. Just take over the presentation.
Actually, my question
messing
was
with you.
in relation to what you were talking about. What is it about your services or what we should do even in a will that would allow people to grieve and step away? And I'm thinking very specifically about an issue that my family encountered where my mother had to step in and kind of handle the estate of her baby brother. The emotions of that, we had no time. He rented to clear that out. I mean, it was literally, we came and we got a few things and it had nothing tied to value and everything tied to sentiment, and then everything else got left.
Right.
So what do you do in terms of the services that you offer when you pack up that would allow the family to grieve and step away, and then maybe even go back through, even if the house has to be cleared?
That's a very good question. It is. So this has happened before, and not only just because they lived in an apartment, but we have had issues where people are in bankruptcies, they're in foreclosures, and we have to move. There is no time. So we are capable and we are ready to move your belongings where you like them to go. Meaning, if it could be a storage facility at the time. Another good point is we had an estate in Kings Mill in Williamsburg, and in that community, they don't allow you to have estate sales because I think they have like a gated entry. So you can't just go in there. You know, we had to literally pack the entire house and have the estate sale out of a double-doored storage facility. So in those instances, just like with what she was saying, they had to pack up the apartment, we had to pack up the entire house because they don't allow people to come in through the gate. And then we were able to now, and they gave us a month. You know, whenever you have a storage facility, you know, you have a month before that, you know, it's month to month. So it gave them now a month and gave us a month to be able to sort through the things, organize them. If she wanted to have an estate sale, which they did, we were able to do that throughout inside of the garage or the storage facility. So that's a good point. We will move the items where you need them to be. We even had people come as far as to North Carolina and had them shipped. So it just depends on where you want them and where you would like them to go. You're welcome. Yes, you may.
Yeah.
Actually, my marketing manager, Damon, is here, and he's going to pass out my cards. They look like this. And I also have a table in the back, and you'll have all my information.
Yep.
You can call me. You're welcome.
And since you went to the real estate, I'm going to segue into, actually, I'm going to give you we're going to have 2 lessons as we go along.
Okay.
So that was a situation where she had a house, a young lady had a house in Hampton. Mother had died. Lady didn't want to deal with the house at all. Like, I don't want to deal with it. And even though you don't want to deal with it, you know, the note's still going to go on. And you don't want to go through the foreclosure process and you lose everything. You want to make sure that you at least get something out of it. So Ms. Carolyn stepped in and she did what we call a subject to. I know my dude right here gonna like that. She did a subject to where she took over the mortgage, right? She didn't put the mortgage in her name.
I owned the asset without
She
owning
owned
the
the
liability.
asset, but you can't say that because you're supposed to be compassionate. Hold on, let me tell the money story. But you are compassionate. I'm just telling you.
Oh,
But
my
no, I'm
goodness.
just messing with you. It's anyway. Method of my madness. So she came in and she did a subject too, and she took over the mortgage, but of course the deed was put in her name. So that's how you do a subject to without you can. It's called subject to the mortgage. So that means you don't put it on your credit. You just take it over. But because she's compassionate, so I want to go to that part. I didn't want you to just say you just did that part. Because she's compassionate, she made sure that she gave them a lump sum of money. You understand? To make sure that they walked away with something. She ain't just take it over and say, here go $5 and go. She gave them, I don't gonna tell you what the amount is, but she gave them enough money that they didn't really need to sell it anyway, and she just took it over. You understand? So that way the lady walked away with something. She received something, but she didn't just get full close. Because a lot of people get, even though their houses are given to them, 9 times out of 10, they say it has a mortgage on it, and because they're grieving, they don't even want to deal with the house. And they'll end up losing the entire asset and all of the blessings that their mother or their grandmother has paid for years and years. And I'm sure this woman went through Jim Crow when strange fruit was hanging on the trees. I'm sure she went through when it was separate but equal. She went through all that back in the day, and she was about to lose the entire asset that her mother had bled and sweat to get because she was grieving. But because she was compassionate, she came in, gave her some money, took over the deed, and now she was free of it. But you want to go into that whole story, or you want to leave that alone? But anyway,
I
at
think
the end of the day, it was a happy
at
ending.
the next overflow.
It was a happy ending. We'll talk about that later, but it was a happy ending.
next one.
But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you don't wait so long, because some people grieve, but you got to move right away, because those houses, those mortgages, those cars, even though they're there, they don't stop sending a note because somebody died.
That's true.
They don't care that somebody's died. They want their money and their payment. And you don't want to lose the asset. Cars, you can argue about it. If it's almost paid off or whatever, but the main thing, you don't want to lose the house. You don't want to lose the property. You don't want to lose the land because you're not paying the taxes on it. You don't want to lose those tangible things that will always appreciate. So she definitely does that as well. So you definitely want to call on her to not only clean out the house and take care of the house, but to make sure that you should secure the house in such a way that you benefit from the legacy that your deceased loved one has left you.
I will tell about this story that we did together. And it's with the estate in Hampton. And
the other one in Hampton. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
So, no, not that one. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, go ahead.
Not that one. There was, and when he talked about, with family feuds, and this one particular lady, she passed away, did not have a will. We had to search for her heirs, which are her grandchildren. All her children had passed away as well, so we had to look for her grandchildren. We found the grandchildren, and we even had one of the great things, Lord have mercy, I forgot about my other service, we have expedite financing, which is really important. Let me stop right there. So with expedite financing, we help families when they don't really have the resources. So we are partnered with Smith Brothers Funeral Home with Andrew Smith. He's been partnered with us since the beginning. He is a phenomenal resource for funeral arrangements and doing services, because in the event that you know for a fact there was no will, I got to go through probate, I got family issues, we fighting already, while you're making your funeral arrangements, you can literally say, hey, I would like to use expedite to help me fix this issue. They will put that with the funeral bill and tag that to the insurance. So now it doesn't come out of your personal pocket. So that is one way that we are partnering with the funeral home to now kind of take away a lot of that stress, because a lot of times the money is tied up in the bank accounts, you're waiting for the insurance money, you have your own bill on top of these, so we had to find a way, and we did, to get you guys resources while you're making the funeral arrangements. The other part is we have investors. Similar to Pastor Maxwell, and I have a few others, that if a family is needing help with getting the property fixed up to sell, but they don't have the money, we have the money and the backing to do that. And this is what we had at this attorney's office. We had an investor to come in, was really was able to and ready to help these grandchildren. Stay with me, I'm going back to the story. We were able to help these grandchildren that we found to get the property up to, because it was in foreclosure, to get the property out of foreclosure, get it ready to be sold so they wouldn't lose their total asset. And these grandchildren literally almost got into a complete fist fight in the attorney's office. I mean, it was throwing blows, and it was like a movie. And it was so sad because then the investor said, I don't want to be a part of this. I'm not going to attach my money, my resources to this type of mess. Literally, they just lost a whole inheritance. And they didn't have a dime to put up. Didn't have any money. We were willing to help fund it. We were going to get paid back at the end when the house was sold. And they were fighting like cats and dogs.
Yeah, I'm going to go on. Thank you for protecting me, but it was me.
Oh
I was
my
like, man,
gosh.
they ain't giving y'all no money. Y'all about to kill each other here. One person had a lawyer, another person had a lawyer,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, I ain't getting my. I walked down like, I ain't doing this. And I'm a pastor. And so the thing about it, that's why you need to leave a will. If a will was in place and they knew exactly who was supposed to get the house or how they were supposed to divide the asset, they would have never, I don't know if they got foreclosed, somebody else came, but I knew I wasn't going to do it because it's already a risk when there's no will. Mm-hmm. Then there's no will and everybody fighting over, I don't know if we're going to ever clear this deed, this title up. So for me to put my money in and clear up a title, and to keep a house from being foreclosed and y'all fighting like this, I don't know what to do. So so I don't know if they ever got the house sold or not. For all I know, it's probably gotten foreclosed and they didn't get anything. But they had a ready, willing, and able investor that was going to, because of her compassion, let them have more money than Maxwell Realty would have done. See, Pastor Maxwell good, Maxwell Realty good too, but some of that stuff bigger. But she's so compassionate that the amount of money that I was going to make off that deal already didn't make no sense to me, number-wise. If I'm put $30,000 in, I'm making $3,000 in. They ain't nothing. It's just because I invest with her and I make money on other things, but that wasn't one of the ones that I was gonna really make money. Because I'm like, if I do this, when I do $50-something, I make 85. You know what I'm saying? I make money, but because I'm vetted with what she's doing, then she's able to help people out. So they would have been helped out from an investor who's a pastor that didn't even want to get him that. So other investors definitely wouldn't have done it. But the thing about it was a compassion moment to take care of them, to make sure that they didn't lose the asset. But they had different lawyers and couldn't come to terms with each other, and almost came into a fist fight in the office. In the office at a little round table. And everybody went, no, I'm just leaving it alone. So anyway, but what I want y'all to know is, she would definitely take care of you. I would not put anybody up here who they wouldn't take care of you. That's why we have the loan people. We got one more presentation after this, but that's why I bring them here. And this, normally, last time, I didn't even do anything about probate, but because I've seen so much in COVID, so many people died.
Yes.
And so many people died, and we had so many funerals that I saw it at a magnified rate, and I realized how important it was to know the people at probate court and the importance of the business that she has. Go ahead, you talk to me. I'm gonna be quiet.
That's all. But just to say on record, you can, until you get to my table. Oh, and just let you know, if you have a really quick question that maybe you may be going through a probate issue right now, you may have lost a loved one and you need some assistance, I can kind of point you in the right direction. Just meet me, I'm in the foyer. My phone number is 757-563-3092. My website is expedite.today. And you can also find me on Instagram, expedite_today. You can Google me, see my reviews on Expedite on Google. And I also will have all my resources there in the foyer. Yes, ma'am. Mic check.
He got you.
Okay.
Okay, listen, I'm a veteran.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, upon my death, my children have 1 year to make a decision whether they want to put the home in their name. They have to have good credit. Say I leave a will, leave my home in one of their names. Their credit is no good. Now they can't refinance the home into their name. Is it possible for them to withdraw money, get a HELOC, loan to pay off the house?
And you saying they don't have good credit?
Well, yeah.
Well, let me tell you, you can't to get a loan to pay off a house is a loan.
Yeah.
So yeah, so no, help me with your question.
It's a veteran home.
It's a veteran home.
They have 1 year upon my death
Right.
to put that home in their name. They don't have good credit.
You can do a deed of
But-
survivorship.
She want to get them to put in their own name. That,
But I have money. If I
Right.
got money already invested, okay, I got
Yes,
money. Is it possible for them to take the money that I have invested in the home and pay the home off?
yeah.
I'm a little confused. with the
You're gonna be
question.
confused because it's just a confusing question. So listen, this is the thing. Either the house gonna be paid off or the house not gonna be paid off.
Right.
If you're gonna take money that was used, that means it's already paid off. So it's either gonna have a loan on it or it's not gonna have a loan on it. So if you paid money in it, that means it should already be paid off. So where they gonna get the money from? Your bank account?
No. I have money. It's not paid off.
Right.
The house is not paid off. I have money invested in it. Now, but if I die, then they lose the house if they can't put the home in their name.
No, they don't. This is what happens. The situation she had right now, got you now. You just put a whole bunch to the other question because to have money
It's
to pay it
okay.
off,
It's
yeah,
okay.
it mean it's already paid off. So this is the thing. Don't do what you're doing. What you saying, get them a year to put in their name and all that, you creating a problem. And that house gonna probably get foreclosed if don't nobody want to put that house in their name and take that loan over, or if their credit is bad. You just do what she said, deed it to someone, or say all of them get a certain amount from the sale. People like myself, her, or other people will come in and help them market their home and sell it. Now they will have to pay the note until it gets sold, but if you don't let them if you don't let them keep it in your name the way it is, you risk you risk them losing it if they don't qualify to put it in their name. So to leave it with that type of stipulation, you might end up having somebody come, yeah, help me out, lawyer, please help me, Jesus.
Come on,
Come
Miss
on,
Veronica.
girl, you better come on.
Okay. What I'm hearing is that you want them to have the house, correct?
Right.
You want them to have the house, but you have liquidity that's set aside, but you had enough liquidity to pay off the house. So you want to structure a situation where they have to use the liquidity if you transition to the other side of eternity to pay off the house. Do a transfer on death deed where the house stays in your name now. It only goes to them in the event that you transition to the other side of eternity, and you do a trust. You structure a trust, and you can put the house in the trust, and by the terms of the trust, they're required to use those funds, or the trustee is required to use those funds to pay off the house. And you may be concerned about whether they'll encumber it or liquidate it. The trustee can have all kinds of protections in place to make sure that the house is just that for them, a home. Because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to make sure that they're not displaced and housing fragile, right? You want them to have your house. That's the way you're going to need some sophistication. Yeah, I understand. Is there. You're going to need a trustee.
I got you.
You're going to need a trustee and structure
Thank
that.
you, Ms.
So I like the way you did that, because
I
you
like
definitely pushed her somewhere else. But I thank you. You're gifted, because you know what she was trying to say. I know you wanted to have a house and did it. I like the way you coached that through that. I appreciate you. You're gifted. Yeah, I know so basically was she's saying that even if they irresponsible, the trustee will make sure they responsible before they get in the house. That's what you saying, right? So she wanted to be responsible and they can have it, but you gonna put it in a trust to make sure it's protected. So I get it now. But I was just like, don't wait till their credit get good, it's gonna be gone. Hallelujah. Look at you. That's what I was worried about. That was saying, yeah, I know what you were saying, but I'm like, the way you were saying it, they were gonna be homeless. I'm telling you that right now. They weren't gonna be nowheres. Thank you, Sister Veronica. You're such a nice young lady. All right, so you can meet Miss Carolyn in the hallway if you have any questions. Can you clap for her, make her feel good?
Thank you, guys.
Hallelujah.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, this is awesome, man. Our Overflow Investors workshop is going great. We've learned how to become bankable. We've learned how to do tax annuities. We learned how to hide our money and tax sheltering. Our goal here is to make sure that we teach people how to make money through investing in real estate. Investing in real estate to me is the easiest way in order for you to learn and to curate wealth. So I'm so happy. We had a good turnout. We had probably about 200 people here today, and it's been awesome. We want to make sure that you're able to not only take care of yourself, but to curate wealth for your children and your children's children and your children's children's children. We want to make sure that you leave a legacy of wealth to take care of your family. And that's what we're going to teach you here in our Overflow.
Hi, I'm Sarita Powers. I came all the way from Virginia Beach to hear Dr. Maxwell. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Can't wait for the next one. I'm going to definitely buy my first property one day soon.
You can also buy into this program. This is a free workshop, but we have it every month. We're going to have paid for classes, and we're going to give it at a very, very discount rate. Just look at the bottom of your screen, and you'll be able to see exactly what it is that you need to invest in yourself in order to make sure that you not only become bankable, but become wealthy so you can take care of your family.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This book is a book I believe everyone should buy. Not just because I wrote it, but because this book was birthed out of pain. And you learn so much during those painful moments. This is called Leadership Growth, the Power and the Pain. You can't have the power unless you've been through the pain. Bishop Morton wrote the foreword. It's been endorsed as well by our former governor, Terry McAuliffe, and by our Newport News Sheriff Gabriel Morgan. I promise you this book will bless you. Please get it, not just for me, but to bless you. Go to willardmaxwell.org or click on the links below, and I promise you this book will bless you. If you don't just buy it for yourself, buy it for someone else. It's a short read, but it's a powerful read. I've been getting testimonies all across the country, and I promise you it will bless your life.